Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about the one thing that's been secretly holding you back without you even realizing it.
You want to know what the most dangerous moment in dating is? It's the moment you decide you like someone. Because it's precisely in that moment that we make the #1 mistake that kills the attraction someone feels for us. We put ourselves in the position of needing that person. And somewhere in all of that, we lose the very magic that actually makes us attractive to that person. It's like our brain has decided that they are the prize, and our job is to win them over. And once you fall into that mindset that you're the one who's trying to get something, you've already given away all of your power. I see this all the time. A woman will meet someone, things start great, the chemistry is there, the conversations flow, she feels like herself, and then something shifts. She realizes, I really like this person, and suddenly everything changes. She starts overthinking every text. She rearranges her schedule to accommodate theirs. She becomes hyper-aware of every little thing she says or does. She starts wondering, did I say the right thing? Was that text too much? Should I have waited longer to respond? And in doing all of this, she stops being the person he was attracted to in the first place. Today, I want to give you a solution to this mindset, this body reaction that's completely involuntary and damages our chances of finding love before love even has the opportunity to take root. I'm Matthew Hussey. If you don't know me, at least for now, for the last 20 years I've been helping people find love, build their own confidence, and live happily in their lives. Love stays no matter what happens. I wrote a book, this book. It's called Love Life. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it now while you remember, because I promise I'm going to have a lot of great videos coming out in the next few months. You're not going to want to miss them. This is something I learned from Bryan Cranston. Yes, that Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. Bryan Cranston figured this out years ago. And he wasn't even talking about dating. He was talking about auditions. But what he said doesn't just hold the answer to being a successful actor. It also contains the answer to finding love. Let's look at what he said. So I used to think that, well, I'm going in there to get a job. But when you put yourself in a position of needing or wanting something, what happens is you relinquish power and control over to some unknown entity. It just evaporates from you. If you need and want something, you're not in a position of control. If you need and want that job, it's going to be evident. It's going to leak out, and people are going to be able to sense that there's a neediness or a want to be there. No one wants to hire someone who really needs a job. We want to hire people who are confident in what they're doing and saying and selling themselves. That point right there is extremely important. This idea that no one wants to hire someone who needs a job. But in dating, no one chooses someone for a relationship because they can see that that person needs a relationship. But this is hard in dating because we both want and need love. Okay, we may not need romantic love in order to be happy. I am someone who believes that we can be happy outside of the context of a relationship. But most of us here who want love are acutely aware that finding romantic love and turning that romantic love into a genuine partnership with a loving teammate is one of the best experiences that is available to us. It is not easy to play it cool in the face of that truth. So how can we deal with these intense wants and needs in a context like, for example, a first date where they don't actually serve us? Let me tell you a story. I was coaching a woman named Sarah, beautiful person, successful, kind. She came to me completely defeated. She said, Matthew, I keep doing the same thing over and over. I meet someone I really like, and within a few weeks, they ghost me every single time. And she couldn't understand what was happening because in her mind, she was being the perfect partner. She was available. She was communicative. She made herself completely accessible to them. And that was exactly the problem. The moment Sarah decided she liked someone, she made them her entire focus. She would cancel plans with friends if he wanted to see her. She would respond to texts immediately, no matter what she was doing. She started planning her life around the possibility of seeing him. And in doing that, she communicated something very clearly to these men. She communicated that her life revolved around them, that she had put them at the center of her world before they had even earned that place. And here's the painful truth about that. When you do that, you're not showing love, you're showing neediness, and neediness repels people. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because it communicates that you don't have a full life of your own. It communicates that you're looking for someone to complete you rather than complement you. So what's the solution? Bryan Cranston figured it out in his acting career, and it applies perfectly to dating. Listen to what he says next. So when I go into a room to pitch a story as a director or writer or an actor to an audition, I am here to give you something. It may be the solution to your problem, but that's up to you. All I'm doing is giving you an option. That point is so key to this whole mindset that avoids the mistake of going into a situation with a person we like thinking that, oh my God, I need them and I want them, and how do I impress them? And then you give away all of your power to them in the process. The idea that I'm bringing something of value to you. It may be that you don't value it. I can't control whether what I have to give is the solution to your problem. All I can do is my part in this date, in this text, in this conversation. That's my only job. And me presenting what I have to offer won't work on the wrong people. The secret is to stop focusing on getting mass approval of our worth, of our importance, and instead seeing the holy grail of relationships as value fit. In other words, finding a person who sees our value exactly as the kind of value they're looking for. Anyone who doesn't fit that profile isn't ours. Think about what that means practically. When you walk into a date, your job isn't to convince them to like you. Your job is to show up as yourself and see if there's a mutual fit. You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. You're not auditioning for the role of their girlfriend. You're exploring whether this person deserves a place in your life. And here's what's magical about this shift. When you approach dating from this place of confidence, of knowing that you have something valuable to offer, and you're simply exploring whether this person is right for you, everything changes. Your energy changes. You stop being anxious and start being curious. You stop trying to impress and start being authentic. You stop giving away your power and start owning it. Bryan Cranston says something else that's crucial. So when you go into a room and you have confidence, what happens is that confidence is, contagious. You like that feeling of it. It's also that you can catch it. If someone comes into the room and I feel their confidence, you're giving me more confidence in assessing what you're saying. That idea that confidence itself has this kind of magical power. We spend so much time focusing on whether we have the right things to be confident about in life, whether we have the right ingredients to justify ourselves having confidence. And we don't spend enough time realizing that confidence in and of itself has a magical quality. It's infectious. People can catch it. So when you walk into the room and you own yourself and you believe in the gift that you're bringing, being present with you, that's what that confidence and that detachment from the outcome that might end up being the thing that makes another person decide you are exactly what they were looking for. Confidence is a true superpower. I know that when I go out to go on stage to speak, it's my job to transfer energy to that audience. It's not their job to transfer energy to me. There's a technique that Phil Stutz and Barry Michaels created called the dust technique, where you imagine before you go out for a big presentation, you dust the audience. You cover them in 2 inches thick layer of dust that prevents them from being this luminous force that we're trying to impress, and instead allows you to be the force that's emanating light. Imagine the next time you go on a date, covering them with a thick layer of dust and then saying, my light doesn't come from them, my light comes from me. If you don't make this shift, a little seed of resentment will start to germinate and start to plant itself, and soon it will be a plant and a tree and a forest of resentment and anger, and you will be self-imploding. Because you haven't surrendered to the idea that if another person gets a job that you auditioned for or that you pitched for and it's tearing you up as a person, you need help. Obviously, in the context of love life, I don't think about it in terms of needing help, because the reality is that over time this can become extremely painful. This idea that, I'm constantly generating resentment, insecurity. Yes, it causes pain when we see other people. Even when we don't wish them harm, it can still happen. We feel pain seeing people find what we so desperately want. But I also believe that what makes relationships really special is the same thing that makes them really hard to find. The right relationships are so special because there's some kind of unique alchemy between those two people. That thing they found isn't mine. If they found it together, when I find it, it will be really mine because I will have found something that's really what I need, a connection that's really special. It's like if I found a wallet here and I look at it and, oh, it's yours. I'm not angry. It's not mine. It's not mine. It's his wallet. So give it back to him. Hey, I'm glad you found your wallet. I think even this idea of being happy that another person found their wallet just because of this video is worth watching, because just that is a way to find peace, even in moments when nothing is happening in our love lives. It allows us to feel at peace. It allows us to feel happy for others, which is a wonderful feeling to have while still maintaining hope and the possibility and sense of curiosity about a moment when we find the thing that's ours. Now let me give you the practical strategies that will help you avoid this number one mistake. Strategy number one: before you meet someone, remind yourself of your value, not in a cocky way, but in a grounded way. Take a moment and write down 3 things you bring to a relationship that have nothing to do with your willingness to accommodate someone else. Maybe it's your sense of humor. Maybe it's your passion for your work. Maybe it's your loyalty to the people you love. Whatever it is, remind yourself that these things are valuable and they exist whether this person sees them or not. Strategy number 2: keep your life full. This is not a game. This is not playing hard to get. This is about genuinely having a life that you love outside of dating. Because when you have a full life, when you have friendships that matter to you, hobbies that excite you, goals that drive you, you naturally show up differently. You're not looking for someone to fill a void. You're looking for someone to add to something that's already good, and that energy is incredibly attractive. Strategy number 3: practice the art of curiosity over anxiety. When you catch yourself spiraling into thoughts like, does he like me? What does that text mean? Why hasn't he called? Stop and redirect. Ask yourself instead, do I like him? Do I enjoy spending time with this person? Does this person add value to my life? When you shift from seeking approval to evaluating fit, you take back your power. Strategy number 4: set boundaries early. I know this sounds counterintuitive when you really like someone. You want to be available. You want to show them you care. But boundaries aren't walls. They're not about pushing people away. They're about honoring yourself. If you have plans with friends and he asks you out last minute, keep your plans, not to punish him, but to honor the life you already have. If he texts you at 2 in the morning, don't respond immediately just because you're excited. Wait until morning. These small acts of self-respect communicate that you value yourself. And when you value yourself, others learn to value you too. Strategy number 5: remember that the right person will appreciate your wholeness, not your willingness to shrink. The person who's right for you won't need you to abandon yourself to win them over. They'll be attracted to the fullness of who you are, your independence, your passions, your boundaries, your life. If someone needs you to make them the center of your universe before they've earned that place, they're not your person. And that's not a rejection of you. That's just information that they're not the right fit. I want you to hear this. The mistake of abandoning yourself when you like someone isn't a character flaw. It's a pattern that most of us learned somewhere along the way. Maybe you saw it modeled in your parents' relationship. Maybe you learned as a child that love meant putting others first, always. Maybe you've been hurt before, and now you overcompensate by trying to be everything someone might want. Whatever the reason, you can unlearn this pattern. You can choose a different way. And here's what I want you to know about confidence in dating. Confidence doesn't mean you have all the answers. It doesn't mean you never feel nervous or uncertain. Confidence means you know your worth isn't determined by whether this one person chooses you. Confidence means you believe that you have something valuable to offer, and you're exploring whether this person is someone you want to share that with. The next time you feel yourself starting to fall into that pattern of making someone the center of your world too soon, I want you to do something for me. I want you to imagine that dust technique. Cover them in dust, not to diminish them, but to remind yourself that your light comes from within you, that you don't need their approval to shine, that you are the one bringing something valuable to the table. And then, I want you to ask yourself this question. If this person disappeared tomorrow, would I still have a life I'm excited about? If the answer is no, that's your signal. That's your cue to step back and reinvest in yourself before you go any further. Because here's the truth that no one tells you about dating. The person who's going to love you best isn't the person you have to convince. It's the person who sees you exactly as you are, in all your fullness and wholeness, and thinks, yes, this is what I've been looking for. And you can't show up in your fullness if you've abandoned yourself to chase someone else's approval. You can't shine your light if you've decided their light is the only one that matters. So be the person who walks into the room knowing you have something to give. Be the person who's curious about whether there's a fit rather than desperate to force one. Be the person who honors their own life even as they make space for someone new. That's when the magic happens. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting. That's when you find not just any relationship, but the right relationship. Leave a comment below and tell me how this video impacted you. I've been loving reading your recent comments. And don't forget to go check out that free training at getcommitment.com that shows you how to progress something from casual to serious. I'll see you soon in the next video.